snap is back to hold us down.
And it's good. Gulfport wins. Gulfport wins the title.
No time on the clock. The Golden Egg is coming to the coast.
Welcome to the HD Experience, your source for sports on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Here's your host, Hunter Dawkins.
Our first guest is fourth-year head coach of the recently joined Louisiana Tech Bulldogs, Sonny Kolbe. Much like my family, Kolbe is from North Texas. Most of my Texas from Dallas-Fort Worth area, too. Where he spent much of his career at Texas Tech until late 2021 when he was hired in Ruston. Coach, one of the most significant steps for the Bulldogs joining this conference is the rivalries. Regardless of your previous conference, how do you think these regional rivalries work for you guys?
Well, I think it makes all the sense in the world. I mean, when you think about, there's within your conference, you have a school that's 30 minutes down the road. You have a school that's 3 hours away south of you. You have a school that's 3 hours east of you. And so I think from, if I've heard from one, I've heard from 100 of our alumni and fan base. They talked about, when they were following Louisiana Tech in previous years, and we could take a trip to Southern Miss for a road game. We could go to UL for a road game to support the team. And so I think from a regional standpoint, it just makes a tremendous amount of sense. I think a large majority of our players are from the areas where we'll be playing games, in particular on the east side or the west side of the division. And so, I think that it's going to be exciting for our players. It's going to be a huge challenge, and I know that our group's looking forward to it.
Coach, outside of winning every game, what's the legitimate step to success for this team?
You have bold ambitions for us all, winning every game.
I mean,
I like what you're talking about here, man. Throwing it out there. I like that. I like your positivity this morning.
Glass half empty.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So that's, I think that's probably the number one goal for everybody here.
Exactly.
I think that, the thing that I'm excited about with this football team is our continuity of, we were able to retain a lot of our players, and the two guys that I have with us, and Eli Finley, our tight end, and Kolbe Fields, our linebacker, are guys that have been with us for 4 years, guys that really exemplify everything that we want our program to be about. And so, we're coming off an 8-win season. We're coming off the 9th bowl championship in program history, and we want to continue that momentum. I think there's a lot of momentum really in the most important place, and that's our locker room. But I think there's also a tremendous amount of momentum from an institution and a program standpoint as we transition into the Sun Belt. And you have opportunities across the path that you go, and we want to be able to be in a position to seize that opportunity. And for us, it's having a great season. It's winning football games and playing at a high level.
Now, of course, the glass half full question asked. Now the glass half empty, Coach. Question: do you have a QB1? Which are the strengths of Baker and Kukak?
Oh, that's not a glass half empty question. I mean, that's a good question to have. We feel good about our quarterbacks, man. Blake Baker ended up starting for us, middle of this early to mid season. Ended up having an injury against Delaware last year. Is fully cleared. He's fully healthy. He's back. He's running workouts, and I think along those lines, you saw a quarterback in Trey Kukak who willed this football team to victories. Found ways to make plays with his arm. Found ways to make plays with his feet, and he willed us to victories at times. So I feel really confident in our top two quarterbacks. I think Blake has had a great summer. He's throwing the football really well. I think he's very determined to prove that he belongs amongst the top of Sun Belt, if not in top of all of college football in terms of the type of quarterback he is. And then all the while knowing we have a great player. What I would think football player was a good definition of Trey Kukak from the standpoint of what he can do at quarterback.
A dual threat system even possible?
I think there's a lot of opportunity with both of those guys in terms of their skill set, and in particular with Trey.
Talk to me about your lack of portal transfer. Now, I'm before I get going on that, is that because of your development from the high school level?
I think that, our goal is we want to try to retain the productive players that we have.
Yeah.
We want to try to recruit really good high school players. We want them, I look at it like this. I want the guys to know that they're getting better Their coaches are getting them better. The sports and performance and Dave Scholes is getting them better. They're having the opportunity to play in an incredible conference in the Sun Belt. They're winning football games. They love their team. They love where they're at. And then, oh, by the way, from a rev share standpoint, we're able to take care of guys where they feel, hey, there's a lot of value in Ruston and Louisiana Tech that doesn't also always come from a dollar figure. And so I think from a retention standpoint, that's our goal. We want to try to recruit high school players, develop them, retain them. Where there's holes to be filled, we're just like everybody else. You look out in the transfer portal and you want to try to find a guy that's played football. And I think not only played football, whether it's transfer portal or junior college, I think we're all searching for, do they love football?
Now, last question. This is a little bit more of a close personal question. How beneficial is recruiting since joining the Sun Belt? Because as you know, one of your players, Bradford, the defensive end, Jacob, his older brother played for me when I was a coach back at Stanislaus.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of with the Sun Belt. I know there's a lot more recruiting down in the South area, junior college area, where you guys are familiar with.
Did they ever give you any shrimp and oysters?
They did a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, no, it's very important.
Very good like that.
Yes. Yeah. No, they're great people. They're a great family. And I'm excited to see Jacob play this year. I think he's poised to have a breakout season. But I think from a recruiting standpoint, it's a great fit also. When you look again in our side of the division, where we're playing at home and on the way, on away games, families are able to come support our kids. A lot of our players have competed, whether it's in high school or junior college, against a lot of the other guys on the roster, when you look at, the West Division. And so I think the notoriety of the Sun Belt, of the league from a football standpoint and the respect that it garners is definitely helped us. And I know it's catches kids' attention that we made the transition to this conference. When you have a conference that, I think that has
rivalries matter.
The rivalries matter. I think it's a really good football league, and so it's definitely helped us from a recruiting standpoint.
Coach, we thank you very much.
Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yourself.
Yep, thank you.
The Gazebo Gazette is Harrison County's only independent newspaper, publishing news from Gulfport to Bay St. Louis every Friday. Hi, this is Hunter Dawkins, owner of the Gazebo Gazette. If you're looking for local news without the hassle of sorting through story after digital story, log on to thegazebogazette.com.
Looking for trusted legal guidance on the Mississippi Gulf Coast? Joseph Kelly, attorney at law, has been serving the coast since 1993, helping families protect what matters most. From estate planning to securing your legacy, Joseph Kelly provides experienced, personalized legal services designed around your unique needs.
Now we're welcoming the two football players representing Louisiana Tech, Eli Finley and Kolbe Fields. How are you gentlemen today?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing well, my friend. Eli, if you had to define yourself offensively, would it be more of a receiving weapon or a blocker that can catch the ball?
I'd like to say both. I mean, our tight ends at Tech, we're utility tools. We do a little bit of everything. When we're needing the run game, we're there to get our nose dirty, and then when we're needing the pass game, we can get open and make big plays on the field.
Good deal. Your size and production would help accumulate some awards individually. Tell me what you think about that opportunity in a different conference.
I don't think the opportunity changes. I mean, we're still playing football. I'm still with a great group of guys, still have the same O-line, same quarterback throwing me the ball, same defense going out there making stops for us. I mean, the awards, it's great, but I want to have those team awards and those individual accolades at the end of the season.
Do you see, at least even in practice, is there more of a emphasis on the regional rivalries and things going on that could later on in the year?
I mean, no. I mean, it's awesome. We acknowledge the fact that we're in a great league and a new league with history, but it doesn't change our preparation. We go out there, we prepare the same, we execute the same, and that's just because we're going out there and playing football.
Good deal. Kolbe, you're in your sixth year and have been regarded as one of the top linebackers in the conference. Has recovering from the injury helped you recognize the strength of the team because of the depth that you need behind you, and therefore, you help building up the team?
And I always had full confidence in all my teammates, whether I was out there and I wasn't. Just speaking from a linebacker aspect, we dogged from top to bottom. I mean, there's no weak links anywhere across the board. I love all my teammates, and I got full trust in they can make any play on the field that I can make.
Kolbe, your experience in the SEC at two different schools provided you with some knowledge of how things work. Do you feel that Louisiana Tech can compete in the Sun Belt regardless of, the level of competition, level of rivalries, just like the SEC has those rivalries?
I mean, honestly, man, I feel like we could compete with anybody. If you spot the ball in the Superdome and we playing against the Saints, I feel like we could go out there and get after Tyler Shutt if we have to. So it really don't matter who we playing against. There's no big teams or no big rivalries that we look at. I mean, we hate every team that we play against. I mean, I feel like that's how you're supposed to. And I hope every team hates us because, you know what I'm saying, that's what make the game competitive.
Phil, I look forward to watching you guys out on the field and anything y'all can do. Looking forward to seeing y'all at the next level. Y'all are pretty competitive. You guys take care of yourself.
You too.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If you are thinking about selling on your own, maybe ask Steph. If you would like to talk to Stephanie to help determine your next steps, call today at 228-563-0471 or call her at the office and ask for Steph at 228-452-4242.
Mark your calendars for Saturday, September 12th, and head to Nine Toes Brewing Company in Pass Christian for the Hook 'em for Heroes block party. It's a free event from 1 to 10 p.m. featuring live performances by J.J. Gray and Mofro, Mark Broussard, Cedric Burnside, Honey Island Swamp Band, and more. Best of all, the event supports local veterans and first responders, so come enjoy great music while giving back to those who have served our communities.
Okay, right. Great. Commissioner, this is in his 8th year of the Sun Belt Conference. We welcome and thank Commissioner Gill. And before we get going, Commissioner, we want to thank you very much, you and the staff, for providing this great opportunity. Y'all are always 100% the top, best of the best with us. And I go to SEC, the conference, the media days also. Y'all definitely rank in the same line with them. And so we appreciate you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Commissioner, let's talk about, because before we get down to the specifics, let's talk about college athletics as a whole.
Okay.
I know you spoke about that on the stage yesterday. Give me a front of where you guys see yourself, because I know not only are the big guns fighting for this Big Ten, SEC, and all the rest, but y'all don't want to be left out, obviously. You want to be in that conversation.
Absolutely.
You want to be in that room where it happens. Talk to me about what you're doing, at least from yourself on the own personal level of the conference, and how you can make sure that, hey, we're not getting left behind here.
Yeah, that's a great question, because I do think, one of the most important things for the Sun Belt is to have access to the college football playoff, and so we work very hard at that with our other colleagues at our peer conferences to try to make sure, hey, we're protecting a spot, and are there ways for us to get additional spots? And so that really is kind of one of the most important, I want to say, roles that I have is to protect our access, make sure that there's always a path. And we know how good that is because we saw JMU do it last year. When JMU got selected, that was such a good thing, obviously, for JMU, but that was great for our conference too. And so it really is just wonderful in terms of that. So the CFP access, we work hard with our colleagues to make sure we're kind of talking and making sure we kind of keep that pipeline open.
Commissioner, talk to me about, I know I asked you this question on stage yesterday too, but you are now, I hope you're still there, but you are in the college basketball, the selection committee, at least, as the president of that, but also then, somebody had an outstanding year, not only in football, in baseball.
Right.
Never have they ever had this many teams. How do we get fairness on every sport? Now, of course, basketball was more the emphasis yesterday.
Right.
But how do we get more of a fairness of where, if there's an expansion to 24 teams, there ought to be a spot, at least one spot available for the Sun Belt. If there is, an expansion of 76, 84, 100 and whatever, there should be at least expansion for 2 teams, if not more, for the Sun Belt. What's your message on that? What are you going to these board meetings, these commissioner meetings, and saying, "Hey, what's going on here? We're competitive."
Right. Yeah, I think I think that's a really good question. I think one of the things that's important, that's really a good thing from a basketball standpoint, is all 32 Division I leagues get an automatic qualifying spot, right? So I think that is a really important thing for all of us to remember, is that everyone does have access to begin. That's why I think NCAA the expansion is important, because I do think that opens up more opportunities. When we took a look at those numbers, it looked really like there's 8 new spots, going from 68 to 76. It looked like 5 to 6 of those spots would probably go to the autonomy conferences in the Big East.
Sure.
And 2 to 3 of those spots on an annual basis would go to conferences outside there. And so there is some incremental opportunity there. And then I do think we've got to do a little better job. I think our women are in a little bit better position right now than our men to focus on basketball, invest in it, get a little better. So that way, as the expansion really takes effect, those are access points for us too.
Do you think, with the addition of Louisiana Tech, I know it's very important to you having that, do you think 14 is enough? And do you think this is where y'all are going to be set for a while?
Yeah. So I think 14 is absolutely enough. But that doesn't mean we wouldn't be open to going to 16 if it made sense, right?
Okay.
We're in a really good spot, so I don't think that there's any reason that we need to add more teams. But certainly I think if there's a good opportunity out there, we would not preclude that in terms of the spots. So I don't anticipate a lot of movement in the next few years. I don't anticipate us growing in any kind of significant way. But if things change, and we know how quickly things change in the realignment world and in the college athletics world, I think we're well positioned to kind of make adjustments. And if that means going to 16, we'd go to 16. If that means going to 18, we'd go to 18. But I think 14 totally works.
How important is the regular season? I mean, I know you, as being a conference commissioner, it's very important, but where they're going with potential 24 teams.
Yeah.
How important is this to you?
I think the regular season is really important. I also think the postseason is really important. The bowls are critical for us. At the end of the day, if we're going to have a team in the CFP, most years we just have one.
Yeah.
But we've got, we've averaged 10 teams in the postseason over the last 4 years. So we need to do things that protect the regular season and protect the bowls and protect the value of the CFP, because that's a significant revenue source for us. So those three things are important. And so when I think about what the best number is, I don't think about it just purely from a Sunbelt access standpoint, right? That is really important. But if that was the only thing we do, we'd want to do 72, or 64 or some sort of giant number. We've got to really figure out, how do we protect the regular season? How do we protect the postseason? How do we protect the value of the CFP and have the biggest playoff that we can to expand opportunities for the Sun Belt? So I hope it gets bigger. I want it to grow. I just want to make sure that we pick a number that supports all 4 things and not just one.
The Sun Belt baseball, I know we're not talking about baseball now, but I have to use this.
Yeah.
This was the most successful, not only for y'all, but just for any non-autonomy conference.
Yeah.
How do you get that formula to work for basketball and football? There's got to be something. I know you probably had calculus thoughts on that and all that.
Yeah.
Talk to me. I mean, is there a way for that? I mean, is that a possibility?
Yeah, I think it is a possibility. Now, I don't think we should act as though all those sports are different, right? Football is different from a standpoint of, there's 132 schools or 136 or whatever we are in FBS now, and there's only 12 teams that go in the postseason, right? So that's a little bit of a different kettle of fish.
Sure.
I think basketball is a little different just because of the way people invest in basketball. I think baseball opens up some opportunities that basketball doesn't. Now, that being said, though, I do think that there are things that we can learn in terms of baseball, whether that's how we recruit, how we invest, how we schedule, that, we might be able to apply to those other sports that might be helpful in some ways that open up some doors. So I think, we got to keep taking a look at it, particularly in basketball. I feel like in football, we're in a pretty good spot. I feel like in basketball, there's some things that we can do to kind of move the needle in some ways that might be better.
Especially since you're in the role to being able to take care of that. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying you're taking care of that from a helping team perspective.
Right.
You're in the position to at least help make the committee to make those decisions.
Yeah, and you can certainly, there are things you learn, by being on the committee that you certainly can apply and that help inform kind of your decision making. So I do think that position now, my term runs out on August 31st. So for the most part, I'm almost done. But I do think, the things that I've learned over the last 5 years can be helpful.
Final question, sir. Now, I know that, at these regional rivalries with Louisiana Tech, this is one of the reasons they brought them in. Is this also the similarity from the recruiting perspective? A lot of these kids, just like I talked with Troy's coach, they're bringing back so much retention. Louisiana Tech coach bring back so many retention, developing these players. Is this something that y'all want to see? Where you don't have kids saying, okay, we're, like Southern Miss with Coach Huff last year, the whole team left because, he left, and that was generally it was. You want the systems of teams that, okay, well, you know what, we're good. Let's just stay here. Like
Right.
from Troy perspective,
Yeah.
is that a step for selecting La Tech as one of those teams that, hey, we're welcoming y'all in because of that reason, because not only of your successful history of a program, but y'all do it right, you recruit right, you develop right.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it all goes into it. I think that the good thing about like La Tech, they just fit. It's good geography, makes it a bus league, makes our games interesting. Our conference games generally our teams average 1,500 to 2,000 more fans a game in a conference game versus non-conference. And I think part of that is because of the regional aspect of it. A lot of these games, when you think about La Tech, they haven't played ULM since 2000 in the sport of football. So
They're literally right down I-20.
They're 30 miles apart,
Exactly.
And so, so that's just kind of strange. So trying to get back to just a little more of a, what we're trying to do is really simple, right? We're trying to this is the way conferences have always been built, right? Is on geography, on proximity, on teams that your fans are used to competing against, regional rivalries. The great thing about, your question relative to recruiting is this is a place where there's a lot of talent, and it's a talent-rich environment. And so we can build.
We've had tons of talent.
Exactly. So we can build good football programs here. And to your point, the more that we can keep and retain them, the better that we'll be. And so I certainly think our coaches have some ideas with that. I think the Protect College Sports Act can certainly help with that, trying to calm down the transfer market. And so hopefully those things will all happen and kind of coalesce together and be positive for us.
Final thing, I know I said the final thing, but and I'm not sure you can speak on this because I'm not sure or not, it's a legal matter probably. What was the deal? Was this just a money thing with Conference USA, or was this just something that, that they were trying to take care of to separate themselves and leave Conference USA? I don't really know what, because it was like, okay, here it is. All right, here they are. I mean, it was almost like, all right, we're just gonna have to slide you money and get out of here.
Yeah, the interesting thing is I don't really know the answer to that. The reality is La Tech and Conference USA worked on that kind of between themselves. We really stayed out of it. We were arm's length away.
I wasn't sure
and
if y'all had if there were some
we
problems
really
with y'all.
didn't. No, we just tried to stay out of it and let them solve it. And now what I will say is I'm glad that they were able to work it out because it's great that they're here. They're a great addition. It's great that we're at 14 and not 13. And yeah, it's going to be a really fun year with them, participating in the Sun Belt this year.
Commissioner, we thank y'all again. This is nothing but exceptional. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it,
Take
Hunter.
care.
United States Marine Inc. knows what it means to show up strong. Your grit and teamwork inspire us every day. At USMI, we cherish our family, and our family includes community and you. USMI builds the baddest boats with pride and coastal toughness.
Looking for insurance coverage you can count on? Call the Insurance Barn, a professional agency since 1959. The Insurance Barn writes all-in-one policies and offers coverage for homeowners, fire, flood, commercial property, auto, boats, motorcycles, plus wind and hail protection.
With quarterback number 1, Louisiana Raging Cajuns, Lunch Winfield. That's right. You heard me right. I didn't incorrectly say it. Lunch Winfield. Now, if you want, you can tell me a little bit of stigma behind that name.
It comes from my grandfather. When I was younger, he had a chicken wing on the side of him, and that was his lunch. I was like a few months old. And he turned away, and I ate it. So since that day,
nice. That's a great story. Nobody here has ever told me that story before. Yeah,
since that day, man.
How confident, being the play caller, being the number 1 guy, how confident do you feel with George and these other guys too that you're going to make it happen?
And George is a guy that's been in this program for a long time. He knows what it takes. He's been through conference championships. He saw guys like Max Mitchell and guys like that made it to the NFL level. He knows what it takes to protect a quarterback. He knows how to do it well. And the confidence that he brings to our experienced O-line, Cooper, Caden Morrow, Matt B, guys like that, those guys know what it takes to go out there and win a game. And they're real confident behind those guys.
What do you think about when he said we were a possession team? We're not necessarily trying to be that anymore, but with the games like I had mentioned about another missed game, it came down to the 1-yard line, fumble, this, that, or the other. Do you think y'all are a better team than that? Do you think y'all are going to get past that? Do y'all practice scenarios like that?
Definitely. We definitely in practice we do situations because that's what the game is. Like you got to be ready for every situation that may happen. So us as a team, we need to keep pushing the pace, pushing the throttle, and not letting up on people. And just don't change the game plan at all, and just keep taking the life out of every team we play.
Like I asked him, how are you going to get from point A to point B this year? Not only playing with possessions and things and such, but do you believe that you guys have the opportunity to get to that next level?
Definitely, I feel like it's all about finishing. When one guy off the defense is slacking, one guy off the offense is slacking, that's weakening it. If everybody's focused and disciplined on finishing, and then it's gonna all come together.
Being the leader of this team, and I know you have to be, talk to me about what your focus is on being vocal to these guys in the huddle or in the locker room or on the community. What sets you apart that you think not only they can trust you, but that they can keep behind you and almost like an army protection? You're the guy in the middle. This is what they have to do to defend you.
As for me, I'm a man of my word. So anything that asks out of me, I'll give to them. I'll show them. I'll do it. I'm just not going to tell them, oh, you're supposed to do this, supposed to do this. I'm going to actually show them how it to be done so they could trust that I'm a man of my word and I'm going to do everything I say. And I'm going to do everything with my heart on the line for them and for myself.
Take care of yourself, my friend. Good luck this year.
Thank you.
Right, we have with us George Jackson,
Yes, sir.
Louisiana University, not anymore Lafayette, because I'm always grew up calling it Lafayette, even though it's in Lafayette, it's Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Raging Cajuns. George, talk to me about having lunch here with you and really developing the offensive scheme that you guys have this year, and not only working with the offensive, line at least, but working with the offensive system, and where are you at and as far as development?
Can you rephrase that,
Yeah,
please?
my fault. I'm looking around talking. As far as development of the team, where are y'all at now? Because y'all came off, you had a decent year, you're moving forward. Where are you at now?
Right now, I feel like we're moving in the right direction. Last year we try to look at last year as a lesson, about not starting fast but we had a good finish strong, but we're trying to do that every game, each week, start fast, finish strong, and offensive line to the offensive line, I feel like as a unit we're doing well. I feel like we're progressing in the right ways. We're always working outside of the facility. I know Lunch, he always takes his receivers, his running backs, during OTAs, outside of practice, they're always getting in extra work, extra film. And, all of that stuff builds up together and comes in as a unit. We're one of the closest teams I feel like we've been on since I've been out here. And
Camaraderie,
yeah,
pretty strong.
definitely the connection it is in the locker room. It's all love right now. And, I feel like that's a big thing that goes into the season right there.
What's the step that you need to make, at least for the team wise? Where do y'all need to get to be able to be either in the conference championship game at the CFP level or something as such? Where do y'all need to get to? Because I assume you feel like you're strong enough to get there. What's keeping y'all from being at that next level?
I mean, honestly, it comes down to one possession games. We have a lot of games where it can go either way, and we have to figure out how to really stamp it where we go into the game, start fast, finish strong, and we don't let up. There's a lot of times where we get up on opponents, jump up the scoreboard, and we allow them to come back. We need to just go ahead, take the life out of everybody.
It's funny you say that. I remember that game last year against Southern Miss, because that's what I cover, at least Southern Miss, one of the teams, 4th down on the 1 yard line, you'll fumble. Next play, Braylon throws the freaking Hail Mary, bam. That's already y'all are ahead though.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm wondering is the possession. It's trying to turn in that one possession change into the game.
Yeah.
And making a difference from there.
Yeah, man. That's just exactly like you said. That's what it comes down to is the one possession games. We have to do better at finishing, and that's one of the things we've been harping on all season is just finishing. And that leads to a lot of things. It could be in the middle of a workout, and if you're not finishing through the line, that's gonna lead over to the field. You know what I'm saying? In the real world, and that's just how we got to take the approach of things right now. When one possession games happen, we have to be able to become the bigger man and know we need to finish the job right then and there.
I know as an offensive lineman, if I ask you this question, do you think you're better run blocking or on at least pass blocking? You're always going to say, I'm all about the ground pound and pound.
Yeah.
Is that what you think? Do you think you guys have a team to be able to do that, to ground pound on everybody? Or do you think really giving Lunch the opportunity to toss it around receivers, what do you think's your strength?
I mean, don't get me wrong, play offensive line. So, of course, I'm going to say we're going to run the ball well. I feel like we're going to always run the ball well. But at the end of the day, the run game helps out the pass game. That's what it just comes down to. We want to be able to put Lunch in a good situation to be able to pass, run, whatever he chooses to do. And at the end of the day, we're going to run the ball when we need to. And, of course, in critical situations, we're going to run the ball.
Yeah. Last question now. Let me ask you this. Now, as far as, I know you guys are talking about at least being together on the team. How much work you guys do together as far as on the community service, fellowship, camaraderie, at least in the community? Talk to me about that.
Man, we do that stuff all the time. We all have culture teams where we all got our own little group chats, our own leaders in there. My group chat name is called The Standard. What I'm saying? We go over to the Boys and Girls Club all the time, go play basketball, go play football with them. We got a drive going right now for our team. We're going to donate to a few middle schools and a few high schools in the neighborhood, just getting a bunch of school supplies and things of that nature, because just to get back to the community.
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank
Take
you.
care of yourself.
Yes, sir.
Nine Toes Brewing Company is a Gulf Coast destination for craft beer, great food, and interactive entertainment. Enjoy a rotating selection of small batch brews, a menu of comfort food favorites, and state-of-the-art golf simulators featuring world-famous courses.
Looking for effortless style on the coast? Discover Coast Casual in the Pass, your locally owned men's and boys' boutique. Coast Casual offers a mix of coastal and southern-inspired clothing, accessories, and gifts.
Here we go. We have with us Louisiana head coach Mike Desormeaux. I think I said that right.
It's pretty close.
Good deal. I'll try to do better, Coach. Coach Daz will do the best.
There we go. That's easy.
Coach Daz, tell me about this team with you guys. This is a if not the best that you've had since you've been coaching, at least. It's one of the best from talent wise, what I've seen. And you're all up there in the top 2 or 3 in every poll, at least from the Sun Belt West Division. Tell me what this team needs to do to get to the next, or at least the championship game.
Yeah, well, I think, long story short, I think this team needs to grow up quick. We've got some good returning production, but we do have a lot of young guys that have not played much that are going to be in key roles. And the faster they mature and grow up, the better off we're going to be, obviously. I think we have some really good young players. I'm really excited about what's coming for those guys and their opportunity to go play. I've seen them over the course of the last year or two, some of them 3, really work and develop within our systems. Now it's time for them to go play. So, we need our returning production that's played really well. We need them to carry the load early while those guys kind of work through growing pains and figure it out. But like I said, the faster that those talented young players we have grow up, the better off we're going to be,
Coach George and Lunch both told me, they said the thing that they needed to improve, at least from their perspective, was situation ball. And I remember being at the game last year, 4th down, lost the ball. I guess it was 4th down. I'm not necessarily sure. But you lost the ball on the 1 yard line to USM, and then Braylon Braxton throws the freaking bomb.
Yeah.
Next, and it's just situations that you were ahead of the game all the time like that. In your opinion, is that something that y'all really need to work on, especially with the young guys in that format?
Yeah, well, I think it's something that you always divvy a lot of time out to. I mean, we run very few.
Now, I know y'all practice that.
Yeah. There's very few situations that we practice where it's just normal downs and there is no situation tied to it. Nothing replaces experience. The fumble you're talking about, it was actually Lunch on the 1 yard line, reached the ball on 1st down. But you don't ever reach the ball on 1st down, and so it's a hell of a way to learn a lesson.
Yeah.
But we had to, we have them backed up on the 2 yard line and it's 3rd and long and we're playing cover 2 and our safety's trying to bluff, doesn't get where he's supposed to be on the snap, and it's 98-yard touchdown. So it's a hard way to learn a lesson, but it's lessons nonetheless. And it's things that you've got to learn from the previous year. And, every year is unique and different, but there's certainly a lot you can learn from past years. And we don't hide from the history, the good or the bad. You lean into it and say, look, let's not make the same mistakes. Let's learn from the things that we did poorly. And whenever we were struggling there in the middle of the year, we did not play good situational football. We did not play good team football. We had long fields all year. We didn't do a very good job playing field position. Once we started to figure that out in the second half of the year, well, what happens? You start winning games. And, that's the thing. You bottle up what you did at the end of the year, the urgency we had, the intent, the attention to detail, the execution in critical situations. And you got to bottle that up, and we got to do that early this year. We started really slow and then we had to find our way through it. And we did. It was just too late for really what our expectations are. We end up a game short of playing the conference championship. And for us, that's every year. It's win the West, playing the championship, win the championship.
Coach, talk to me about recruiting. Now, I know it's changed.
Yeah.
In your timeline here, it's not been that fast. You go from junior college, high school recruiting to now transfer portals, looking for this, looking for that. I know that the money isn't as big as issue as some other teams, but still the revenue is a little bit of an issue, and you can't necessarily afford something like LSU, obviously not. So where do you guys focus on as far as recruiting goes?
High school kids, that's we've signed 41 high school players in the last 2 years. That's
a step in a new direction from
it's
a lot of schools.
It's different than most people choose to do it. We've been fortunate. We've been able to retain most of our roster year after year. So that's right. The money we have, right, and we do not have unlimited funds. I mean, it's certainly not close to that.
Sure.
We use it in retention. And, the message to our players is, listen, you pick the right place because you want to be there. You pick it because you're happy. You do your best work when you're happy. Whenever you do your best work, you'll get compensated for it. And, we do pay our players, like everybody does, but we pay for production, and we pay a lot more for production at UL than anywhere else. So in the portal, if you're going to live in the portal, it's expensive. If you're going to live in the portal, it's hard because you don't have a full picture of who that person is. You get a snapshot of it in about 48 hours when you have them on a visit, and you got to figure out who they are. Recruiting high school kids, you get to recruit them for a year. You get to have their family at your place 3, 4, 5, 6 times before they commit, and then they sign, and you have a relationship that is with them. They trust you. They know that you're going to do what you say you're going to do, and then you reward them as they continue to play better. And it comes incrementally most of the time. You start to play a little bit better, and you get a little bit more, and then when you become a major contributor and a key player, you get paid more. So the retention piece has been huge for us because we want to live in the high school recruiting world. Now, we are a little young this year, like I said, because of that, but I'm comfortable with that. Watching our guys develop in our program and watch them go from taking 10 snaps a game to 30 snaps a game tells me, hey, he's ready to go play 50 snaps a game because he's on that track and he's continued to get better all the way through it. So it's just the world that you have to be comfortable living in. For us, I think at UL, and every situation is completely unique. It's not like it used to be where it's, hey, 85 scholarships, 105 roster, everyone gets a scholarship at 85, and that's what it is. Well, now there's a lot of different pieces to it. You got to figure out what works where you're at. In 24, I think is when we hit our stride. Last year, we had a really good team coming back. We had a heck of an injury bug that hit, and we had to survive it, and we did. Now you're back healthy, and, you do have some new players that are going to be playing in key spots. Well, that's what college football is supposed to be. And, to me, I'm excited about those guys that get the opportunity.
And my final question, Coach. I know you guys have a new stadium. You have a new, pretty much everything's building up at Louisiana Lafayette. Well, not Lafayette anymore, but just Louisiana. In this format, and you are pretty much the beloved son of the group. And I know, a little bit overreacting on that, but as far as it goes, the Raging Cajun family is appreciated for you, not only playing, but coaching and all the rest. Do you feel like you need to have a team to be able to get to the next level, at least, and I don't mean that from a terms of college football, but a championship level team to provide what you expect for all the way across the board?
Yeah, I mean, look,
those people are obviously donating to football.
Sure.
And with the football stadium and such.
Yeah, look, the expectations at our place, I mean, it's pretty clear cut.
That's a good answer, expectations.
Yeah, I mean, they expect us to compete to win the conference every year. When I took the job, I knew the expectations. Now, things have changed and we've had to navigate the new landscape of it, but the expectations haven't. But the reality is nobody is going to put more pressure on me or on us than we will.
Sure.
I believe that we're in a place where we can do that year in and year out, and we can be in contention. And, 2 years ago, we hosted it and we came up short, and that was a backbreaker. Last year, as hard as last year was, we're a game away from being back in it. I mean, we're right there. No one wants it more than we do as a staff and our kids, because, the things we ask them to do, it ain't easy. So you might as well go win. And, I'm appreciative of our fan base. Beloved might be a tough word. Some of them may be beloved more than others, but it's that's the nature of the job. And I know I'm the right person for the job, and nobody cares about this place more than me. And I'm excited about where our program is headed. Every year, I feel like we've taken strides forward, and the record isn't always the best indicator. I know that at the end, that's how we're judged.
Sure.
But the team and the job that our staff and our players did last year, man, to stay together and stay in the fight and keep that dream alive of getting to our 8th straight bowl game, that was something I'm proud of. Now, yeah, we got to go finish. Getting the conference championship and don't win. Get to a bowl game the last few years and don't win. We got to go finish it better. But that's, every year is different, and that's what's in front of us this year, and I'm excited about those challenges.
Are you happy? I mean, not necessarily happy would be the wrong word, but do you think Louisiana Tech joining the Sun Belt Conference is a good thing?
I am happy. I do think it's a good thing. I mean, I don't see what world we live in where it's not, to be honest with you. I love the direction our conference has taken, where everyone else is chasing all these other things. I don't understand what it is. We have decided to continue to regionalize the conference and create, I don't want to say create, but introduce rivalries that are long-standing, that our fan bases care about. And college football is what it is because of fan support. College football is what it is because of how much people care about it. Anytime you can add a game that you're going to play every year to your schedule that your fans are excited about, that's a good thing. And it's something that's good for our kids. And yeah, we recruit against La Tech and vice versa. We recruit the same kids. We're in battles for them all the time. That's a fun thing to be able to do. And no, I think it's awesome for our conference. Any bus trip your team can take, that means that's a drivable game for your fans. So that's what it's all about, right? Is making, obviously you want the player experience to be better. That's better when the fan experience is better, because playing in front of full stadiums is a whole lot better than playing in front of nobody but saying you're on TV. So we get the opportunity to do both. And that's something that, to me, I am really excited about. And I am happy that they're in the conference. I have a lot of respect for the program, long-standing tradition, respect for Coach Kolbe and what they've done recently. I think it's going to be great for our players, for our program, and for our fans.
Do you like Coach Napier's back here in the conference?
Man, I think it's awesome. I hate the way things happen for him at Florida, because I think the world of him. JMU got another home run hire in Coach Napier, and he landed in a heck of a spot. I mean, that is a really cool place. Tons of support. People care about that football at JMU a whole lot. And, I'm happy for him. I really am, because he's a great dude. He deserves to be in a really good spot. And I think, it's a fan base that hopefully will appreciate what he is, the way he does things. And I know he'll have success there.
Coach, we really appreciate you. We wish you guys the best of luck this year.
Thank you. Appreciate y'all having me.
Thank you.
Welcome to the HD Experience, your source for sports on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Here's your host, Hunter Dawkins.